Today I want to share with you 3 reasons that you really should take trademarking your brand seriously. Hey, my name is Jim Hart. I'm a trademark lawyer if you're new to the channel, and today I want to share with you some of the reasons why trademarking might be more important than you think. One of the most common questions I get from clients and prospective clients is, what's up with this trademarking thing? Is this really something that I should take seriously? And whether you are a coach, a consultant, maybe you're selling something via like an e-commerce brand on an Amazon or Shopify or something like that, or potentially you are a service provider, any number of things that you might be doing in terms of online businesses. Yes, trademarking your brand is something that you absolutely should take seriously, absolutely should take seriously. And today I want to explain to you kind of why that is and give you 3 reasons for that. But before I get to that, I do want to share with you what exactly a trademark is. So when you go out in public and you go to a store, be it an Apple store, Starbucks, McDonald's, any type of major name brand, you will notice that they have bags, they have their logos, they have their name. If you go out for a jog and you're wearing a pair of Nike shoes, they're gonna have the Nike swoosh, they're gonna have the name Nike, the Just Do It logo or slogan. Those are trademarks. And so basically a trademark is a word or phrase or image or scent, or it could be a color that identifies your brand as distinct from every other brand that sells similar goods or services in the marketplace. It's important to register that brand with the US Patent and Trademark Office, because if you don't, you're going to run into some of the situations we're going to talk about here today. And so the first situation is so that you're not infringing on somebody else. I think this is probably the most important reason why you definitely want to make sure you are trademarking your brand. This can go 2 different ways. On the one hand, you want to make sure you register your trademark because you want to do that search. So whenever we do a trademark for somebody, it starts with a comprehensive search. I'm having a hard time talking today. You know what that means? I need a little sip. I accidentally left my coffee mug over on the table, but here you go. Got the Portuguese mug today. This is one of my brand new favorites, I might add. So the first reason why you really need to consider taking your trademark seriously is so that you're not infringing on somebody else. And as I mentioned, this can go one of 2 different ways. The first way this can go is if you're using a name, or you're thinking about using a name and you want to, my wife just got home. That means I need to pause this for a minute. I will be back. Okay, where was I? The first thing you need to think about, and there's really 2 sides to this equation here. When you're just getting started, you want to, number 1, make sure your name is available. And on the other hand, once you start building your business and growing, you want to make sure that nobody else is stepping in and stealing your name from you. So on the one hand, when we first file a trademark application, we're going to do a comprehensive search, which is going to make sure nobody's using your name. What most people will do is they will file that, or they will conduct that search, and then they will start using the name thinking, okay, great, I did the search, nobody's using it, I'm good to go. And that's the end of the story. The problem with that approach is that once you start building your business and growing your brand, anyone can step in and say, oh, look, that person has a pretty cool brand. They can do a search. It's a public record on the US Patent and Trademark Office website, and they can determine that you have not filed a trademark application for that brand, and they can go ahead and file an application in front of you. Now, the US Patent and Trademark Office is a first to file system, which means the first person to file for a given name selling certain goods or services under that name is going to have priority. This is kind of a misnomer, because actually it's the first person to use the name in commerce has priority, but it's much more expensive to go in and contest a trademark or try to have it canceled so that your application can proceed, rather than just getting in there and filing it first to begin with. So the much easier way to do it is to file your application first. So the way I work for my clients is we do the trademark search, and then we, as quickly as possible, file the trademark application. This helps on 2 fronts. Number 1, it helps to make sure that the mark is available and something that you actually can register. And it also helps to keep potential infringers and people that want to steal your brand from you from using your mark in the future, or from filing an application for a deceptively similar mark. Now, what does this have to do with why you should consider registering your trademark? If you don't do these things, and somebody does end up stealing your mark, or you end up infringing on somebody because you're using a name that somebody's already using, then it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, to rebrand your business if and when you get a cease and desist letter from somebody. And that is the most likely scenario that happens, that I see quite frequently, is you start your business, you do a search, nobody's using it, or maybe you don't do a search and somebody already has a name that's deceptively similar to yours, or somebody comes in and starts using your name and then files their own trademark application. And then what happens is you end up getting a cease and desist letter and are told to stop using that name, which means if you have inventory, you're going to have to do something with that. You're typically going to have to dispose of it or get rid of it, because the cease and desist letter probably is going to tell you you can't sell under that brand name anymore. So you might be out tens of thousands of dollars there. You may have to rebrand or take down social media posts that you've gotten some traction on. You may have to do things with your website, take down, rewrite blog posts, videos, all these sorts of things that have your brand connected to it. You're going to have to take down. If somebody is searching for your brand online, you may have to redirect your website to the competitor's website, and then you lose all that Google traffic related to your brand. So you can see this can be a very expensive, very time-consuming, very problematic process to go through if you do have to rebrand, and it's going to cost you much more than the relatively minor investment of registering your trademark now. So that's reason number one why you need to get a trademark. Reason number two that you really need to think about registering your trademark is because if you are building a brand that you intend to sell at some point, and if you're in business and you're building an online brand, or you're selling something through, like I said, an Amazon with an e-commerce store, or maybe Shopify, or you're selling coaching services, or something else, anything that you're really intending to build a brand around, having that trademark in place is number one, it's going to give you the freedom to increase the value of your business should you decide to sell. It's also going to give you opportunities to license your brand to other people. So if you're in the coaching space and you're building a system or a framework around your coaching process and you want to license that to other people that would like to become certified coaches under you, you can use your trademark, your registered trademark, and you can license that to them to use for a fee. And now if you don't have that trademark in place, then it's going to be very difficult to license your intellectual property, and you're going to lose out on that cash flow in the future. So it's very important that you consider these things when deciding whether or not it makes sense to trademark your brand now. I've told the story before of a colleague of mine who had built up a brand, and then they were ready to sell the brand, and they actually ran into problems with the buyer because they had not trademarked the name of their brand, and that is usually a pretty big asset when it comes to selling a brand or selling your business. The trademark is if somebody comes in and they want to buy your brand and they realize that you haven't actually registered the trademark for your brand, and they do their own search and realize that somebody else is using that brand name, and so they don't have, what you would call clear title to that brand, then that's going to be a problem, and it could cause buyers to renege on the initial purchase offer, or it could cause them to lower the price of the sale because now they have to take all of those things into account when deciding whether or not they want to proceed in purchasing your brand. So this is a big thing, and this can literally cost you tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in future equity in your business and cash flow in your business through licensing deals by not having a trademark in place. And finally, the third reason is probably the most practical reason. And if you're watching my videos and you've seen some of the other videos I've done on trademarks, then you kind of have already started to understand why trademarks are so important and the problems that you can run into if you decide not to file a registered or file a trademark with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in the United States. And that is that it's just going to give you peace of mind. It's going to allow you to sleep better at night. You're going to feel better about your brand. You're not going to have to worry that somebody's going to come in and steal your brand out from underneath you. You have the confidence knowing that when you go out into the marketplace and you project your brand and you try to grow your brand, that you're not infringing on anybody else's rights. And so this is a really important, often understated reason to trademark your brand, is just the peace of mind that it's going to give you knowing that you have that certificate in your hands and nobody can ever take that away from you so long as you continue to use your mark in commerce. So that's pretty important. I probably should have said that number one because I think that's probably one of the most important reasons. Sorry, I'm a bit thirsty today, more coffee than normal. If you're very interested in trademarking, you want to learn more about this process, here's another video I've done right here that talks about how to kind of DIY your own trademarks and whether or not you should actually DIY your trademarks. Have a great week, folks. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.